Welcome to the Electronic Gadgets channel, and today we're going to talk about the D-Link wireless AC750 dual band router. It is model DIR 816L. And so this is a D-Link router. I've been using it for about a month because I really wanted to have a good run on it to actually know what performance you get out of it and how well actually it goes, and do you have to reboot it all the time and so on. Routers are very complicated. It's difficult to get a real good router. So here we're going to talk about this router and its positive and its negative points. So this is one of the new models. Routers come in different wireless settings. There's standards, and most people are still on the N standard. This one is on the new AC standard. This is the standard that is now pretty much part of most good new routers. AC promises much more distance, much more performance, and actually promises a lot of stuff that surprisingly are not necessarily true, or depends on really the model you're using. So this model, like I said, is the DIR 816. So if you're looking for what model this is, you can see here on the bottom right of the box, DIR 816L. It is dual band. Most routers until pretty recently were single band. Most routers were on 2.4 gigahertz. And the problem with that is the fact that there was a lot of interference, especially in urban areas where your neighbors are all hooked up with their routers and there's a lot of signals around. And so it makes the distance actually much lower. This one has also 5 gigahertz, which is the new actually Wi-Fi band. It's been operational for a few years now, but it's still fairly new for a lot of routers. And it has the AC standard. This router promises up to 750 megabits connections, but it's a little tricky. They put that 750 number, but it's in reality they just add up the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz speeds to go to 750, but nothing will plug and actually use 750. What they say about 5 gigahertz, having a dual band router, is that you'll increase the range and so on. Well, first of all, let me tell you one thing. On 2.4, I do get pretty good range on this router, but on 5 gigahertz, it's horrible. Signal just in the next room, which isn't very far, signal's already, only about 75%. I find it not necessarily that great actually on the 5 gigahertz. And it's not just this router. I've tested 3 or 4 different routers that had 5 gigahertz and came to the conclusion that I'm not really sure that 5 gigahertz is such a good band actually. The good thing about this router is the fact that it's extremely easy to set up. You get basically the router. With it, you have little stickers that give you the Wi-Fi WPA encryption key. It's already done for you. So if you don't want to really go crazy in how to actually put the Wi-Fi security on and so on, which most people just don't understand, this router is good for that. The positive point of it is really that it's already pre-configured. All you have to do is enter the key that's on the little sticker. I personally like to go and tweak the menus inside the router, which is much more interesting for me, because I can actually change things and make the performance hopefully a little better. So that's something to look for. I paid $60, $59.99 for this router. It is, depending on where you'll buy it, in between, I'd say about $47.50 is the lowest that I've seen, all the way up to about $65, $70, depending on where you bought it. It is a good router in general in the performance level. But you know, it's not the best router that I've seen also. The biggest problem with this router is the speed that it connects to the devices. Now, I've been able to achieve connection speeds of 150, 170 megabits on 5 gigahertz. That seems to work well. But all of my computers on the 2.4 gigahertz, I've never been able to connect faster than 75 megabits, which is okay considering that if you only use internet with the router, it's not, you know, bad because it's faster than the internet connection anyway. But if you plan to share files, big files through your network, through the wireless network, it's actually going to be slower than I've seen on a lot of routers. You know, I've tweaked the settings a lot in this router and never was able to achieve better than 75 megabits in a connection. And you know what? This router is rated that you can go up to 300 megabits on the 2.4 and 433 megabits on the 5 gigahertz. You know, these are numbers that are very rarely the true numbers that your computer will ever, or your devices will ever connect. I've hooked up a lot of devices on this router. I have plugged in tower. I have on Wi-Fi an iPhone, an iPad, a Android TV box, a smart TV. I've got a you know, a MacBook, an Apple TV. So I have a lot of devices that connect to this router, and you know what? Everything connects really well. That is a great positive point, I would say, about this router. Every device connects well and never drops in the connection. I've never seen a drop in the connection on this router. Which is very nice because when you have a lot of devices on your wireless network, what happens is usually you at least have one device that always has a hard time getting you know, the connection up with a wireless router. But this router is amazing for that. It actually works very well with every device that I have. Another positive point is the fact that I've not restarted this router once since it's been hooked up. It's been a little more than a month now, and I can tell you that I've not restarted this router at all in the more than a month usage, which means that it's pretty rock solid in its performance, and doesn't seem to really have any problems. But I did update the firmware to the latest firmware version, which is 2.05. When I bought it, it was on 2.01, I think. So I really upgraded the firmware, and actually pretty much everybody that uses a router should you know, upgrade the firmware, because very often the firmware that is with the routers in the box is a little buggy. What do you have? You have two antennas, which is always nice. You know, the routers with antennas are always better than routers that don't have any outboard antennas, because it does help in the range, especially if you got a big home. Having a router that has antennas is usually better in a big home, especially if you have to go, you know, to different levels in your home, first floor, second floor, and so on. What does it have as features? Well, the features that it does have, and here we're going to show you the back of the router on the box. It has 4 Ethernet ports, and these are not gigabit. that's also something to be careful, because most of the routers that are AC that I've seen are gigabit ports. Here there's no mention, and the reason they don't mention it is that these ports are just 100 megabits regular LAN ports. So it's not gigabits. If you need gigabit ports, this is not a router for you. It has a Ethernet port, so that's where you'll plug in your internet modem, the cable modem, and so on. It has a USB port, and at first I was kind of happy. I was like, oh wow, I'll plug in my printer. No, if you look at the instructions carefully, you'll notice this is what's called a Shareport. It is there to simply put a mass storage device. So for example, you have a external hard drive. Well, you'll plug it there and it will become available as a network storage device. So that's a nice thing though. And you can also put, of course, a USB key or any, mass storage device in that port. And it will actually show up and you'll have network storage available, so you can store files in your own local network. So it's nice for that. I think it's a cool little feature that they give us. Would have been nice to have also a port for plug in a good old printer in the USB and have it shared on the network, but no, it is really made for files, mass storage device files. And you can actually manage your device using a iOS or Android D-Link, my D-Link Shareport app. So here there's a little demonstration at the bottom. If you put the D-Link, my D-Link Shareport app, you'll have available all of your music and movies through the network. So it's nice, for example, if you have a TV that connects to your network, you can actually put a hard drive with movies on it, for example, or TV shows hooked up to the USB port of the router, and they'll work and stream through your devices, including iPad and Android tablets and phones. These are nice little features, not features that I use a lot, but they are available, and it's interesting to note that exists. It's a very down-to-earth, simple router, so it really comes with only, you get the router, the power adapter, a little piece of Ethernet wire, and the power supply. And that's pretty much it. There's a very small, very basic instruction, or kind of more of a startup type instruction, so that you can just hook it up and get it working as fast as possible. The negative side, like I said, is the fact that it is slow on the Wi-Fi. It doesn't connect much faster than 75 megabits, and I've actually even seen connections as low as 50 megabits. If I look at my own computer right now, which is a Toshiba PC, I'm at 72 megabits now, and that's on the 2.4 gigahertz. But if I look at the same connection on a 5 gigahertz computer, like my MacBook, for example, well, it connects around 150, 175 megabits. But it's, far from the ratings that they actually give you. And I think there must be some kind of, flaw with the way it connects, because it never connects really very fast, actually. Like I said, if you don't share files, it's not a problem, because the internet is slower than, usually slower than what your router will give you in Wi-Fi speeds. But if you got a, I'm really close, like if I look at 72 megabits, I've got a 60 megabit internet connection here. So I can tell you one thing, at 60 megabits, I'm so close to 72 that I'm, I think that there might be actually problems and really getting my real internet speed with it. So you know, that's something to note, because it can be a very important factor. And if you share big fast or your Wi-Fi network, it will be a problem because it will be slower than it's supposed to. So this is one of the cheapest AC routers around. I haven't seen much routers, or any routers actually, cheaper than this D-Link one. And overall, it did work well. It has a 1-year warranty that comes with it. And like I said, it's rock solid, so I haven't even started. I haven't had to restart it for the past month of usage. If you enjoy our videos, why not subscribe to our channel? You'll be informed when new videos are online. And by the way, before I leave, also one feature that you might want to consider is that this router has a full set of features in its firmware. So if you access the D-Link firmware or innards through your PC, you can really tweak every setting inside this router, which is very nice, because some routers have, you know, very basic setups and very basic features when you try to access the router's firmware. But this one is really, really complete, has lots of menus and lots of options that you can change. And why not subscribe to our channel, where you'll be informed when new videos are online. We try to post videos as much as possible. We'll try to actually increase the pace of putting videos online. I want to at least put one video a week. So we'll be checking that out. And hopefully you will come back to the Electronic Gadgets channel. So this was the D-Link wireless AC DIR 816L router, dual band, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz.